Okay, we will see test your knowledge questions from your study material, chapter number 9, payment of tax. Okay, so in this you can see this first question: examine the authority vested under CGST Act 2017 for preventing a registered person from utilizing the input tax credit availed in a fraudulent manner. So there is one rule, Rule 86A. Rule 86A we need to talk about. So that Rule 86A says that, so whatever input tax credit that has been availed can be suspended for a maximum period of 1 year by commissioner or any other officer authorized by him. Okay, so I am now discussing Rule 86A. What does Rule 86A says? Rule 86A says that in 5 cases, that is, you have taken ITC and the invoice is missing, or you have taken ITC without receipt of goods or services, or you have taken ITC and the supplier has not paid tax. Okay, then you have taken ITC and you are not doing business from the place where you have obtained registration, or you have taken ITC against an invoice given by a supplier and that supplier is not doing business from the place where they have obtained registration. 5 cases: supplier not in existence or not doing business from the place where they have obtained registration, recipient not in existence or not doing business from the place where they have obtained registration, and input tax credit availed with against an invoice which is missing, or ITC availed without actual receipt of goods or services, or the 5th cases, the supplier has not paid the tax. In these 5 cases or any of these 5 cases, commissioner or any other officer, in order to carry out the investigation, they can suspend the ITC whatever we have taken for a maximum period of 1 year. That is given in Rule 86A. Okay, so has reasons to believe that ITC available has been fraudulently availed or ineligible, he may prohibit the use of that ITC. So for the period, what is the maximum period for which they can suspend? 1 year. So this is the provision related to that. Then second, so Mr. A has deposited a sum of 30,000 under minor head of interest column for the major head IGST. At the time of filing GSTR 3B for a particular tax period, he has noticed that there is no sufficient amount under the minor head tax towards payment of 30,000. When approached with the jurisdictional tax officer, Mr. A was guided to deposit the tax amount under the proper head of account and claim a refund for the remittance of amount deposited under the head interest. Examine the relevant provisions of CGST Act towards payment of tax. Here we have a form called as PMT 9. What is that PMT 9? So he can, that is a person who made a deposit into the cash ledger. So total there will be 4 major heads and 5 minor heads in the cash ledger. So what are those 4 major heads? CGST, SGST or UTGST and IGST and compensation cess. These are the 4 major heads, and the minor heads, if you see, TIPFO, tax, interest, penalty, fee and others. These are the 5 major heads. Now when we make a deposit into a particular cell, so for shifting the balances from one cell to another cell in the cash ledger, we can use PMT 9 form GST PMT 9 to shift the balances. Okay, so about that you need to write. So in this case, he deposited under any minor head, so that balance can be transferred using PMT 9. So that can be transferred from interest to tax head and tax liability. So between these 20 cells, any cell to any cell, the balance can be transferred. We don't have to again pay and get the refund of the old amount, not necessary. Okay, that is the answer for question number 2. Then question number 3, PPC Limited has availed input tax credit for 54,000 IGST during February 2021 on a particular purchase. Accounting records for the above purchase indicate that IGST paid to the supplier is 45,000. So they have availed ITC 54,000, but what is recorded is only, that is accounting records 45,000. As per the bill received, GSTR1 uploaded by the supplier for the above supply indicates 45,000, which means what is the matched ITC? 45,000 is only matched ITC, because whatever details that are furnished by the supplier in their GSTR1 will only be taken as the base. So that will be 45,000 matched ITC. Examine as per GST provisions what value shall be updated in the ledgers maintained on behalf of PPC Limited on the common portal. See, actually this question is based on old provisions. So now, first of all, we cannot take this 54,000 as ITC. They have given has availed ITC of 54. We cannot take 54,000 as ITC at all, first of all, because only match credit can be taken. So as this question is as per old provision, suppose if we are availing 54,000, that 54,000 will be going into the credit ledger. Okay. So 54,000 will be going into the credit ledger. Understood or not? 54,000. Okay. So input tax credit shown by the supplier is only 45,000, but credit ledger will be created with 54. Now suppose if the same question is given in current context, what you need to do? You need to first write with effect from 1/1/2022 only the matched ITC can be availed. Okay. How much can be availed as ITC? This point you need to know. Okay. How much ITC can be availed? So ITC availed in GSTR 3B. How much ITC can be availed in GSTR 3B? How much ITC can be availed in GSTR 3B? First, we need to take ITC reflected in GSTR 2B. ITC reflected in GSTR 2B, that should be taken. ITC reflected in GSTR 2B should be taken first, and minus, in this even our blocked credits also will be coming, ineligible credits also coming, minus. Okay. So ITC with respect to non-business purpose, ITC with respect to non-business purpose, personal purpose. So non-business purpose should be taken out, because that will also come in GSTR 2B, but we should take it out. It is also matched, take it out. Minus ITC with respect to exempted, ITC with respect to exempted, that is also taken out. Minus blocked credit. So these three will be coming in 2B, but we should not take that credit, we should take out blocked ITC. Now this we need to add one more, that is GST paid under RCM. GST paid under RCM, because GST paid under RCM will not come into 2B. So that is not matched. So that we need to add. Okay. So when we are doing this way, you get some amount that is called as eligible matched ITC. Eligible matched ITC, which can be availed in GSTR 3B. So this template you need to remember. This template you need to remember. So what you need to do is that the moment you see the matched ITC, don't blindly go for it. First see ITC with respect to non-business purpose, take out. ITC with respect to exempted also you take out. Blocked credits also take out. So non-business purpose is covered under blocked credit in the name of personal purpose. But what is non-business purpose? Non-business purpose does not mean only personal purpose. Non-business purpose means used for other business is also non-business for me. For example, I have two businesses. Okay. Now, two registrations you can take. So, whatever inward supply I received in another registration, I cannot take ITC here, because that will be non-business for this business. It will be business for other business, non-business here. So, non-business means not only personal, used for other business is also non-business. Okay. So, that should be taken out, and this is eligible matched ITC. Okay. Now, so what you need to write now for this question is that with effect from 1/1/2022, only eligible matched ITC can be availed as ITC. Consequently, so whatever is GST reported by supplier in GSTR1, that can only be availed as ITC. Therefore, ITC that can be availed is 45,000, and 45,000 will be reflected in electronic credit ledger. Like that we need to write. So the answer given here in the study material is wrong answer. So please don't follow this, because this answer is as per old provisions. So now as per latest provisions, I told you what we need to write. Then question number 4, ABC and company have defaulted in filing the return under section 39. Section 39 return means what? GSTR 3B. For the month of March 2021 within the specified due date. The due date of filing GSTR 3B is 20th of the month following every month. Okay. Reason for such delay is attributable to delay in closure of books for March, which has been finalized during May. The GST common portal prompted for payment of late fee payable under section 47 for a sum of 2000 under CGST, SGST each. Accountant sought your confirmation for payment of such late fees through the balance available in the credit ledger. Impossible. The balance that is available in the credit ledger, actually there are 3 ledgers that will be maintained by GST network on behalf of every registered person: electronic credit ledger, electronic cash ledger, and electronic liability ledger. The balance in the electronic credit ledger can be used only for payment of tax, cannot be used for payment of interest. Total 5 dues are there, TIPFO. So for payment of tax dues only we can use electronic credit ledger. For payment of other 4 we cannot use. But cash ledger we can use for payment of all. Okay. Then that is the answer for this. Next question. How many types of electronic ledgers or registers are there? 3. Electronic liability ledger that contains the details of liability, payable, interest, penalty, etc. Then electronic credit ledger that contains a balance in ITC. And electronic cash ledger, whenever we make a deposit into the cash ledger or any refunds or any TDS, TCS deducted, that will come into cash ledger. That is that. What are the main features of GST process? So 3 ledgers we have seen. Main features of GST process is that, so now there is elimination of paper transactions. So completely everything is automated. So therefore paperless transactions. So then previously challans we need to preserve, but now we don't have to preserve the challan. Everything will be recorded. So therefore warehousing of digital challans. Okay. Warehousing of digital challans. Now we don't have to preserve, it's already there, automatically captured. And now how that will be captured, because all the challans are electronically generated in the common portal. And previously only during the banking hours we can make the payment of tax. But now we can make the payment of tax anytime. Okay. So that is anytime, anywhere mode of payment of tax. Because how it is possible? Because now the tax will be payable online. And we don't need any data, because any data, your accounts access is not required, because all the data will be available. So therefore real-time data for tax collection in electronic format. And previously, so we will make the remittance, but it will reach to the government late. But now there will be faster remittance because the payment is made through online. And because of all these things, there will be speedy accounting and reporting and electronic reconciliation and simplified procedure for the banks. You don't have to write this many points. Any 5 or 6 points if you write, that will be sufficient. So features of payment process. Then, are principles of unjust enrichment applicable for payment under GST? What is unjust enrichment? Unjust enrichment means, so you should not pass on the burden to the next person and then go for the refund. So whenever under GST we go for refund of tax, we need to ensure that we are not transferring the burden to the next person. So if you transfer the burden to the next person, we will not be getting the refund. That is known as unjust enrichment. Okay. So yes, that will be applicable. So every person has paid the tax under this act unless the contrary is proved by him, be deemed to have passed the full incidence of the tax to the recipient. So he need to prove that he has not passed on the burden to the next person. Then next question. state the name of output tax under GST where any of the input tax credit under GST can be availed. So that is IGST. So we can use IGST for payment of IGST. We can use all the credits na for payment of IGST. That is that. Then question number 9. Shahil is supplier of taxable goods in Karnataka. He got registered under GST in the month of September 2021 and wishes to pay IGST liability for the month. Since making the GST payment for the first time, he is of the view that he needs to mandatorily have the online banking facility to make the payment of GST. Offline payment is not permitted under GST. You are required to apprise Shahil regarding the various modes of deposit in the electronic cash ledger. What are the various modes of deposit in the electronic cash ledger? Total 4 modes. Number 1, NEFT RTGS transfer, or we can make payment through debit card, credit card, or net banking, or over the counter cash deposit. But the over the counter cash deposit is up to 10,000 rupees per tax period. Internet banking, debit card, credit card, NEFT RTGS, over the counter cash deposit up to 10,000 rupees per challan per tax period. Okay. So that is this. Further advise him with regard to following issues. Are manual challans allowed under GST? So manual challans are not allowed under GST. Okay. So always the challans needs to be generated online. Even though this NEFT and over the counter payment, this is offline. This is offline. So what is this NEFT RTGS payments? Means we go to the bank, we fill the NEFT form, RTGS form, and we give, so the bank will take care of transfer from our account. That's an offline payment. And even over the counter cash deposit is offline. Even if the payment is offline, but the challan has to be generated online only. Okay. Then next, what is the validity period of the challan? So once challan is generated, that will be valid for a period of 15 days. Means within 15 days we need to complete the payment. Then is cross utilization among major and minor heads of electronic cash ledger is permitted? Yes, by filing PMT 9. So we can shift the balances from one cell to other cell in the minor and major heads in the electronic cash ledger. That is possible now. Okay. Then next question, question number 10. Suhasini is a registered software consultant. On account of her ill health, she could not provide any services during the month of October. However, she had to incur all the expenses relating to her office. She paid 75,000 to various vendors. The total input tax credit involved on the goods and services procured by her is 13,500. Out of the total bills paid by her, one bill for 15,000 relates to security services availed for security of her office, tax on which is payable under reverse charge. Input tax credit involved in such bill is 2,700. Suhasini is of the opinion that for the month of October, no GST payable, because so her input tax credit is 13,500 and she had to incur all the expenses. There is no outward supply. Okay. And so there is some RCM liability. RCM liability 2,700. So she is of the opinion that no GST payable as she has sufficient balance in ITC for payment of GST under reverse charge. No. So this 2,700 we cannot pay using electronic credit ledger. This 2,700 we have to pay only through cash ledger, and the moment we pay from the cash ledger, that money will come into the credit ledger. Already they have 13,500 now. Now 2,700 will be added to the electronic credit ledger, but the 2,700 they have to pay through electronic cash ledger. So Suhasini is wrong and she is required to pay GST 2,700 on security service through electronic cash ledger only. Okay. And that can be taken as ITC in the credit ledger. So these are the questions that we have in the study material, and apart from that, so there could be some questions on computation of interest on account of delay in payment of tax. Also there could be some questions on interest computation. Remember, it is simple. we need to compute interest at the rate of 18% per annum from the first date after due date till the actual date of payment. Okay, so that's how the interest will be computed, from the first date after due date till the actual date of payment, and this interest rate is 18% per annum. Now suppose if there is any delay in filing GSTR 3B, then for the delay also we need to pay interest, because there is delay in filing 3B, which means delay in payment of tax. At the time when we file 3B, we need to pay the tax. If there is any delay in filing 3B, there will be delay in payment of tax. So then in that case, the interest will be computed not on the gross liability but on the net liability. So that is FCM liability minus input tax credit, net FCM plus RCM, that is a net liability. On that net liability only, that is that much amount which we pay using the cash ledger, using that, on that only we need to compute the interest. So this point you please keep in mind. Then one more aspect also, that is whenever we have made the payment of tax in excess, so then when we are getting refund, so refund will not come into the cash ledger completely, but in proportionate. Suppose for that month we paid in 3:2 ratio through credit ledger and cash ledger, so then the refund will be coming back into credit ledger and cash ledger in the ratio of 3:2 only. Okay, so these are other points. So this about payment process related questions. So yes, you have any doubts you can ask. Sir, late fee important for exam? Not important, but for MCQ it will be tested. It can be tested. 86B condition, apart from non-existence of supplier and non-continuation from place of business. So 86A, that is not 86B, 86A, 5 condition. Supplier not in existence and not doing business from the place where they have obtained registration. Recipient not in existence and not doing business from the place where they have obtained registration. Then invoice is not in existence. Supplier has not paid tax, then not received the goods or services. Okay, these are the 5 points. You can see that. So 86A, where is it? Rule 86A. Say this 86A. So commissioner, I think it's not given here. It is discussed in input tax credit, total 5 cases pa. That is supplier is not in existence or not doing business from the place where they have obtained registration. Recipient not in existence, not doing business from the place where they have obtained registration. Invoice is missing and supplier has not paid tax and you have not received the goods or services. These are the 5 conditions. Okay.